Alright guys, Balgus here, guild leader of Reroll City, and today we're going to go over how I achieved my very good score I got on the normal guild boss run this week. So I just want to start off by saying a little bit about myself. I'm not a whale before you see the score. I am not free to play either though, I am a moderate spender. I probably spent a couple of hundred on the game buying stuff like the Jericho skins, the Jericho dupes, stuff like that. My Jericho is 6 out of 6 for this video, so it is going to be a lot higher than if you only have a couple of points into the ultimate, but obviously you can emulate the strategy as long as you have Gotha as well, and try and get a score that is not as high as mine, but it's like a very good score at least, probably close to 900 plus if you only have a couple of points in the ultimate. So yeah, we're gonna get straight into the run now, and I'll explain all the gear and stuff at the end of the video. Alright guys, these are the two scores I've got for this week, and for the run I'm gonna use Red Gotha, Green Gustav, Jericho and Helbram. And the strategy that you want to try and achieve with this is you want to try and get the end combo of the rank 3 Gotha buff for the 20% bonus stats. You want the gold freeze and the gold Helbram buff, and obviously Jericho is going to crit with their ultimate. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. Like for the start, I start off by using all my Jericho cards at the start. You want to make sure that you use S1 first so that you don't crit with a debuff and do a lot of damage. So I spend them like that and then just dump the rest of the spells and keep the Helbram spell, because if I get a combine on the Helbram it does less damage, so I'm not going to risk killing the boss. So we got the really good combine there, and a really good Helbram combine, and another Helbram card. This is like a really good RNG, like you're not going to get this every time, but if you keep trying you'll get something similar to this. This is actually pretty overkill for what I actually need for the run. So what I'll do is I'll combine the Helbram, like so. So I've got the gold Helbram already, and I'll dump the other spells, because I want to try and now pull another freeze and then another Gotha skill up, so then I have all 3 ounce gold, and then I have the Jericho ultimate. So here I pull the Gotha card and the freeze, so what I can do now is I can just try and make sure I get the Jericho ultimate for next turn, and to just try and score as many points as possible. So I'll buff with the Gotha to make it a gold buff for the 20% extra bonus stats. This is very important to get a really high score. And then I'll throw out, there's like a trick I just do here where I move the Jericho card, and if you move a card it gives an extra ultimate, so by moving it and casting it I get the ultimate this turn instead of having to wait for another card. Then I go for the buff and then just attack in, and then I throw out a freeze just because it's 5 extra bonus points and I don't need it anymore. So now I've got everything I need to score the perfect points. All I need to now is crit. So what I'll do is I'll cast Gotha buff first to get the 20% bonus stats. Then I'll cast the gold Helbram to get all the extra attack stats. Then I'll cast the Gustav freeze for the gold freeze because it's getting upgraded, remember. And then the Jericho ultimate. So this is the triple gold perfect combo. Now unfortunately I don't crit in the video, but this was the perfect setup. This is the setup that you need to have to get the score that I had on the screen. Obviously you just need to crit instead. So let's just get into what I used to achieve this score then. Okay guys, so this is the team comp that I used in the video, and I'm going to go into all the gear and the stuff I used. So for the first position you're going to want to use Red Gotha. Unfortunately, because he removes all the RNG out of the runs, he's like pretty much the only choice at the minute. You could use Green Girl if you really wanted to, but it's just really bad. And as you can see, he's really good because the 20% base stats he gives adds a lot of extra base attack damage. So for the second slot, you're going to want to use Gustav, as with Gustav, his passive reduces the boss's resistance, so you do more damage. You could use Red Merlin if you don't really want to use Gustav, but Gustav is a very good choice for this. So I'm going to go into his gear. For my Gustav, I don't really have the pierce rate re-rolled, but basically you want maximum pierce rate on these two pieces of gear to do as much damage as you possibly can if you really want to eke out that little bit extra. So for the last buff spot, I use Hellbrim because it increases all the attack stats, and also occasionally if he does get double crit, his passive will make it so he doesn't die and it doesn't fuck the run. Like, his gear is just random crit chance gear that I use for Jericho in PvP, so you can put anything on him, it doesn't really matter. And so now the Jericho, this is where you want to put all your best attack gear. So I'll show you the stats I go for. After a lot of test runs, I found that you want to try and get around 245 to 250 crit damage with as high attack as possible. Like, this is like the magic numbers for this. So I'll just show you, like, for my Jericho, she is 6 out of 6 like I mentioned earlier. So obviously if it's not as high, you'll do less damage. Now this is the gear sets I use for her. I go for attack crit damage. Basically though, you want to try and hit those numbers with any sets possible. Like, I have a good attack damage roll on my SSR gear, and then so on the right hand side I just use full crit damage rolls, so that way I hit a good mix between damage and hit the 245 crit. Now as you can see, you get 20% crit damage from the congeniality buff and 20% from onslaught. So if you don't have very good attack damage gear on the right side and left side, you could just create a full 6-piece crit damage set and then roll all the subs into attack damage and do it that way to hit the thing. And for this run I use the crit damage food. Like, it's the best food in my opinion. If you're below the CC though, you can use the CC food, but I'm a lot higher, so it doesn't really matter. And for the missions this week, the missions are just really trash. Like, you won't be able to get a good team and hit those missions with a good score, so it's best just to ignore them completely. As you'll see in my first run, I didn't actually do any of the missions, I just got the score purely from the setup and the damage. So hopefully you guys can copy this or try and implement it into your runs to get a good score. Cheers.